Okay, part 2 of the turn signal switch replacement. Alright, it's a little brighter out finally. It is pouring out, unfortunately, so I'm still basically stuck inside of my truck, which stinks because it seems to me that there's only one Allen key screw in order to pull off like a kind of like a collar bearing, whatever you want to call it. I think it's called a collar. And once I unscrew that, I should be able to slide this whole piece out. For right now, I just put one screw back just to hold it in place. But what I did was I just got some, like, decent gauge wire that's, thick enough to be able to go through and not be too brittle, but not so thick that you can't bend it easily. And all I did was I snaked it in here, and then there's a hole like right around here that goes into the shaft, and then it comes down and it comes out right here. I know it's hard to see, I apologize without the light, but with the one wire, when I snaked it through, once I got it into that hole, it just came out of the hole automatically. It popped out very easily, and here's the other end of the wire. So now all I'm gonna do is just cut a piece off of this wire. Alright, and I'm gonna tape this to the wire, and then when I pull the wire out, it'll pull this through. Now the other thing, I saw that, let's see if I can mount this here for a second. One other guy did was, which I'm gonna try out, hopefully I'll have better luck. I really didn't like the idea of even putting this tape on here and kind of getting the contacts all gunky and shit, but oops, sorry for my language, but really was the only way I could think to do it. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take this tape off. Alright, now I'm just gonna hold down some of these. You know what? Maybe I'm not. I was gonna fold some of these down so that the first part that's going through isn't so thick, but then this is actually almost double the thickness when I do that on this part of it. So I think I'm actually not gonna do that. We're gonna try it this way. As you can see, they're a little bit different lengths to begin with. Alright, so if I can find my electrical tape here. Okay, now what I did was I taped the wire to this, I don't know, wire, thicker gauge wire, and I put a little hook on it, and just gonna take the pliers and just squeeze that down a little bit on there. Sorry about the camera work. Okay, so anyway, squeeze that down a little bit, and now, okay, so now when I tape it up, I pushed in that little hook that I had so it won't get caught on anything, and I also taped up all the way to the top so that the wire sticking out wouldn't get caught on the way through the holes, because I have no clue what it could be getting caught on in there. And then also what I did was I just flipped over the end so that it'll be easy to pull this back off, because I'm only doing this temporarily. So now, hopefully, when I pull this thing through here, oh, sorry for that. I'm trying to hold the camera with my mouth, actually. But anyway, so I need two hands to do this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this wire in order to pull this wire through. Alright, now I got it over that little bit of a hump, so as you see now, as I pull it, it comes right out. Okay. So now, basically, in essence, this video is a reinstall video. So, let's see if I can get this to work. I don't know how well you can see this. Hopefully this is working for you. But I'm gonna pull this the rest of the way through here. Okay. Now before you pull it all the way tight, there we go. I'm gonna make sure you get this. This is the actual where your turn signal screws into. Where is it? Where the turn signal actually screws into, so that when you go up and down, it switches between right and left. Okay, now just so everybody knows, basically, I don't remember exactly which ones are which, so you'd have to look them up for your vehicle. But the reason there's so many wires is because you have left switch, right switch. I don't know if these are actually what they are. I'm just trying to explain why there's so many wires. Then you would have a ground. Then you would have basically you run it runs power to the right rear tail light and the left rear tail light. That way, because on these older vehicles it has your blinker and your brake light on the same circuit. So basically, without these extra wires, when you hit the brakes, the light's not going to get any, it's not going to change, it's not going to get any brighter or anything, so nobody would know the difference between you having your lights on and having your brakes on. And I believe that the other two are basically, like I said, they're just the making sure that the lights change from regular lights to brake lights. But you know, like I said, you'd have to look up what yours actually are, but that's basically in essence what they are. So now I want to, there we are, get this piece to go. Where are we? Into that hole. It's kind of hard to show you here. Where is it? Alright, yeah, there it is. You can see it. Come on, focus. You can see it trying to get into that hole there. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, now this bolt is kind of in the way of this wire, so I had to make sure that I pulled all the wires except for this blue and yellow. Now I'm just putting these screws on. Oops, sorry. I'm doing some terrible camera work today. I apologize. I was trying to get this piece off of the column. I don't know if it's supposed to come off or not. You can buy those parts, so I would assume got to be a way to take them off, but I couldn't get it, and it seems to be this is working fine this way. So I actually didn't need to take the shifter off, and I really hope that it goes right back on. But the problem is or it might be, is that it might not be lining up exactly how it's supposed to, but we'll find out, and hopefully it does. Sorry, I know it's my feet. I'm just trying to get the ratchet on here. So anyway, now I have the clip that I showed in the previous video of removing this switch, and I told you how if you're gonna do this, you need to write down, you know, the proper wiring, how they go into the clip, which I don't know where I put, but here it is, which goes back into the clip. Now, I am not putting this clip back on right now because I'm actually taking off my steering column so that I can change my steering coupler, okay, which is really shot on mine. But normally, like I said, basically all you'd be doing is what we're doing here is just putting this back in. Sorry, once again. Putting this back in, putting the screws back on with the, make sure that when you take everything off that you remember how everything goes back on. For me, I've done this a couple times trying to figure out what was wrong, so I actually really didn't have any problem trying to get this done. Now, my truck did not have this part on it. To be completely honest, I'm not sure exactly where it goes, but obviously it goes around the shaft somehow, and I think it's to keep the shaft from moving around in here. I'm sorry, man. So I think it's to keep this from moving around in here, but it didn't have one to begin with, so it's kind of hard to figure out where it goes. I just have some old wiring diagrams that kind of showed me a little something something, but so these go in here. My windows are fogging up because it's raining out and it's starting to get a little warm in here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two in hand tight. Get this thing a little flush up here. Just hand tight. So now, let's see, trying to flick the switch in order to get it out of my way, but I gotta get a better screwdriver. This thing's in the way. But this just, of course, it doesn't want to move. If I stick the bar back in here. Not sure if we're exactly in where we're supposed to be, but I just need to flick the switch real quick. Yeah, there we go. I think it's got to go in a little bit more flush in order to sit there properly. There we go. Now, on mine, this is plastic, and my old one was broken. Right here. This piece was broken off, so be careful when you're screwing on. You don't want to snap that and then, you know, be stuck without it. So, once again, all except for the blue wire. Give these a little tug here. Unfortunately, that blue one kind of pulled in itself also, but okay, now that's how your signal works, and all it does is move you from one part of the contact to the other. Okay, I gotta go get myself a another screwdriver. Alright, better screwdriver. I'll tell you what, it really poured here for a minute. And then sun came out, so hopefully we're done with this for the day, because I'd like to get my steering coupler done today. Now, I believe this little metal thing is really, come on, get in there. It's really just to hold that plastic piece in so the plastic don't break. Now, as you see, I'm going back and forth from each screw a little bit so that it mounts on there nicely and evenly. You don't want to over crank one, and then when you go to do the other one, it shifts so far that it snaps on you, because then you'd be aggravated that you gotta wait for the part to come in. So let's see if I can mount this here. Alright, hopefully it doesn't fall on you there. Now what I'm gonna do is just very simply, when I bought the new switch, it already came with these little metal things crimped onto the end. So as long as you don't ruin your old harness, and just so everybody knows, the reason I did that little hook is so that when I was pulling on it, didn't pull the wire right out of there, and I would have been aggravated and had to rerun everything. Okay, now after you're done, what you're probably going to want to do is either put those little plastic covers over these things, over the wires, or just run electrical tape all the way around them. I recommend doing like some kind of heat shrink or something, honestly, because what'll happen is all this old electrical tape wire stickiness will actually melt, and then it'll, you know, stop sticking after a while. So I think your best bet is just to use the heat shrink wrap. Okay, now when I took the old one off, one of these didn't want to come out, so hopefully this will pull right out of here. Okay, let's try going the other way. Sorry. I don't want to break my bracket here, so I just want to do a little bit at a time. Come on. Alright, I'm going to pause the video so you don't have to watch me. Okay, now I know this is turning into a long video, but as you can see, I wrote the wires here, and what I did was I just drew a little top piece of the clip so that I remembered that the top piece of the clip went here. So now, hopefully, just assuming that these are going to be the same. Come on. This would be my purple. Alright, now, let's see here. So that'd be red. No, that's not red, that's yellow. Duh. Okay, so yellow goes here. Red goes here. And kind of, you know, I'm like click in there. There you go. When they get in the right spot there. And if you go too far, it's not a big deal, because when you put it in the clip, it'll pop back out. Okay. Now, okay, I have white and blue, gray, and gray and white. So, white and blue, I'm going to put right here. Okay, now, I'm going to assume that instead of gray, it's green. Now, obviously, this isn't really something you should be doing, just assuming shit. But, I know exactly what went wrong if something's wrong, so I'm really not that worried about it. So basically, that's it. And then it will get it clipped back into here, which I'm not going to do for right now. And then spring goes on, but I need to put this on here. Alright, well, this thing looks like it's supposed to be bent and put in, but gonna have to figure that out in a minute. Okay, now I'm gonna wait to do this because like I said, I'm removing this whole steering column today on a different video, so I'm just gonna leave this out for now so I can go and look up how it's supposed to be positioned on a diagram. But I know it does go somewhere like here, and like I said, I think it's once you put it in, it's just keeping everything off from banging around. But I'm not positive, but it's really not a big deal, like I said, because the spring's in there. Okay. See now, there we go. Okay, so I guess that just goes in there like that, and then just the pin. Really simple. And then putting your steering wheel back on would just be lining up where you made your mark in order to put the steering wheel on, and then you put the bolt back on, and then you tighten that down. That'll be it. But I'm taking my steering wheel out, so I won't be doing that today. So the last thing I have left to do is just, I'm sorry, yes, before I put the steering wheel on, I apologize, there is that little copper spring contact that goes in there that I have to put on. So let me find that and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the little copper spring contact. Alright, now all you do is slide it in here. Alright, be careful because it's pretty delicate. Okay, and then all it does is on the back side of the steering wheel, as you can see, this is the back side. It just runs around this rim here. Alright, so that it keeps constant contact. Oh, there's that piece I was talking about. I guess I was wrong. It does not go into here. Good thing I was going to look it up first. But that contact will sit against here. That way when you push your horn from the other side, the power will send through and your horn will work. So hopefully my horn bar still works, but it's pretty shot, and I doubt it does. But that's the end of the video. So like, comment, share. I hope this video has helped you out. Check out some of my other videos, and as always, this is really just me doing my own thing. So if you use my videos as some kind of instructional video, you know, that you're taking on whatever responsibilities yourself. I'm not responsible for what you do or don't do wrong. The reason why I do these videos with no editing is so that everybody can see my mistakes, and everybody can, you know, hopefully not make that mistake. But you can see that, you know, you just got to get your hands in there and try things. You know, you're never gonna know how to do it if you don't try doing it. I've never done this before, but it just something I knew I could do. I don't want to pay somebody else to do it, so here I am. Like I said, like, comment, share. Thank you.